Hello, lovely people. I'm Shaq, and welcome. Today we're going to work on Della's bookcase because, hey, the lumber that I ordered showed up. And I just made another book. I think this is absolutely adorable. I will put where it came from down in the description box because right now I'm drawing a blank. But a lot of Della's books come from this source, and I love it because they're all vintage or antique looking books that I print out and put together. But let's turn around the camera and get started putting this shelf together. So I've put the supports in and obviously marked before doing that. And I want to see if I'm going to try a different way of assembly than I did last time and see if it goes smoother. Because last time was really awkward. We're going to put on the glue onto the side supports rather than onto the ends of the shelves like I did last time. We'll go ahead and hit everything on the one side. I also did less support, and I guess I'm hoping that it shows less. Flip it up. I don't know if it's going to continue to be easy, but this part's much easier. So we try to get this straight so we can get the other side on. And I forgot about, keeping the thing square. I think the blocks are behind me, so we'll get those in a minute. And the square I was using in the last video was reclaimed and taken back out to the garage, and when I was out there earlier today, I forgot to pick it up. So we're without that. Hope I don't regret it. Well, again, easier than last time. Okay, I'm definitely a fan of this method. I'm using the lines on the cutting mat to try and get everything square. There we go. Oh, that was nice. Yeah. Looks like success there. I'm going to let those set up and then be right back. So now I'm going to add that little kick plate piece. Make sure I get it to go in here right. I have pencil lines I want to the side that won't be seen. And one side is a little bit rougher than the other, so I want the smoothest side to make contact. And I forgot to mention that I had intended this shelving unit to be the same size as the one I already made, but I read my ruler wrong, and so we ended up with 2 inches wider. And yeah, and that's with measuring twice. So just gonna say, sometimes even when you measure twice, you get it wrong, and I decided that I'm such a book lover that that's okay. That I could just be okay with having them different. And I checked the space that they were going to go into and decided that that was a safe bet there too. Okay, we're going to take these blocks out. And let's put the top on as well. Make sure I got that going the right way. can't remember what my criteria was for this. Except the front edge. Maybe I didn't have any criteria for which side was up. Okay. And we've got the clamps here. Thinking about using them for this. I don't know. It's probably good enough without them. Got a good fit up here. So yeah, putting the glue on the sides rather than on the ends of the shelves is a much better assembly method. So much easier. So it looks like I sanded on this front edge enough that I made the piece just a little bit narrower than the sides. And we're losing contact. You know, I was trying to get it flush with the front. Maybe I should stick a piece of paper or cardstock underneath there. Maybe that'd help. Yeah, that's just right. It's not that big a deal. I could just push it back and let this be proud, but I don't really want to. So this is the shape that I plan on putting on top. And I have these paper clay pieces. So that one will go in the middle. And they'll be painted brown, like on the chair. And again, you can probably see here they need a lot of cleanup around the edges. They weren't, when I started this morning, they weren't quite dry. So I wanted to make sure they were fully set up before I start sanding on them or cleaning them up in any way. But anyway, once that's dry, I can clean them up, glue them in place. And I think we can go ahead and glue this on top. I think that's a safe thing to do. As long as I can reach it. I'm running out of space here. Maybe I should swivel around. So I feel like I didn't. One thing about not putting the back on at this point is that you can knock it out of square. Now I'm hoping this foot kick thing will help keep everything square, but it might not. It might not be enough. So I'm just trying to pay attention to where I'm at and that I'm not accidentally making it go askew. I mean, it'd probably still be fine in the space, but just trying to keep it as square as possible. I think we have a little mouse either trying to get into the house or it's in the house and it's trying to get out. I don't know which, but it was doing a lot of scratching last night. And I'm really hoping that it's on the outside. Because I've had the invasion of the mice enough times to know that while they might not get into your food, they might not do anything untoward that way, and they'll still get into stuff and tear it up. Just nesting. Plus, I just don't like them in the house. I like them outside. This has got a lot of glue. I'm sitting here trying to evenly set this back, and I think I did on the other one. I put it flush to the front. We're already stuck there, so we're not going to move it, but that's probably easier to just do it flush to the front. So there we are assembled, and I added bookbinder clips to help hold this in place. It just felt like it wasn't making as good a contact as I would like. I kind of wish I had clips to put this in as well, because it too feels like it's not making as much contact as I would like. But we're here, and that's how it is. I got the back off of another pad of watercolor paper to use for this. And you know, I have not even thought about what wallpaper I wanted to put on here, whether I want to match it or not. So I'm going to go look at wallpaper while this sets up. And you can see I put, this is another clamp. I put the clamp on the bottom. And I'm going to have to get to painting, or I won't have enough of these to salvage. On my paper clay pieces, I wanted to show that these two pieces were only part of this mold here. I actually did not put clay down here on this end. I tried to give it a good ending. I was only partially successful at that, and ended up cutting away instead to make it look right. But I wanted to show that that's an option, is that you could use part of the mold to create what you want to use. I picked out my wallpaper, and then I had to do some trimming to make sure that my edges would match up, because I went for this wider side. I have a seam that runs down, and I didn't want it to be visible. And the paper that I have doesn't have a pattern that matches. You have to overlap and mark and trim if you don't want your paper overlapped, which I don't. I want it to butt up against and lay flat. And also this time around, I remembered to mark where the shelf was, because the piece of paper is not long enough to do the full height. So I marked where the shelf was on the piece of chipboard, and then trimmed the piece to end there. And then I could put the next two sheets up in that same spot and be hidden behind the shelf. On my other two shelving units, I didn't do that. The one, maybe it was small enough that it didn't matter, but on the other, I have a seam going like right through there, and I can see it, and it bothers me. So this time, I try to make sure the seam is actually right here, that goes from top to bottom, and I have to look for it to see it. So that turned out pretty good. Now when I go to put the shellac on here, it might emphasize it. It has a tendency to do that, but if you're using Mod Podge, it hides it. You won't see, it'll help hide the seam. It won't emphasize it. And I'm really like that. See, if I move down here, you can see this seam is more obvious. And I'm glad that I got it behind the shelf. I still have to trim off the excess, but I'm waiting for the glue to dry. While we're waiting on glue and whatnot to dry, I decided to come down here and show you Della at her desk. And we've made space for the shelf right behind her. And she's got flowers now on the desk. A lot of this stuff will come off the desk and go on the shelf. And you can see the pile, of course, of stuff that also goes on the shelf. And the clothing and that little tin, which is actually kind of a big tin, that's all clothing, shoes and stuff that'll go in the wardrobe that will belong right there. So like I said before, I thought I was going to need to rearrange and put this bed in a different way, and I think that is the only way in which I'm going to be able to get a wardrobe in here, is by putting the bed back there against that wall. And yeah, I even had to move the kitchen shelf much further into the corner in order to make room for this bigger shelf that we're making right now. So let's get back to that. I got the paper clay pieces painted, and I've marked approximate center. It still doesn't look right, but we may be a little kind of not, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look centered because the piece is not actually properly centered either. I was a little off to one side. I should have marked a center on the piece and on the top of this top of the shelf, so that I could be certain that I had it centered. I think this slopes this way more. And it's not a perfect arch. I think that's what's messing with my visual cues here. But we will, I'll be putting shellac on here to seal everything. Whoops. And then I will come back and show you the finished shelf in place. We'll move Della out of the way so that we can see the full shelf set up. And there it is in place. I love it. It is a lighter finish than the chair because I went ahead and used the new shellac instead of trying to make the old shellac go that far. Because the one's blonde, the one that I used is blonde, and the other one is a more yellow. I don't know what they call it, but it's clearly a lighter, more clear shellac, which is awesome, but at the same time it means the chair looks more yellow. The Douglas fir was more yellow to start with too, so that's another thing. But anyway, that aside, I think it turned out great. And yeah, she's practically at it full, and I still have a bunch more books to make. And you might notice down here by her feet, right there, that is a shot glass from our Mudwood gnomes. We do taste testing at market, and that one leaks. And whenever we have a leaky shot glass, because that happens, I guess, over time, they sometimes get a crack and they'll start leaking. And Arthur brings them home and they become trash cans. And I've got one in both the different bathrooms that I've built, and she's got one now next to her desk. So our shot glasses, even when they get cracked, continue on as little trash cans whenever possible. Let's see if we can move over here. The baby dolls on the bed. I think we're gonna work on a Kindle in the next video. If I can pull all the materials together. If not, we'll start on that wardrobe maybe. I don't know. Tune in, find out, and I hope you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.